Welcome to Life Mastery for Women. I'm your host, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. I've been studying mind mastery and emotional management and energy work and its connection to spirituality for over 25 years. And in this podcast, I help guide you out of your daily struggles in life in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. Life is hard, but your daily growth doesn't have to be. Join me 3 times a week as I lead you inward on a healing, connecting, and creating journey. Let's go get that nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I am finding you standing in your own power. If you're not standing in your own power, then it is my intention that in today's episode I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. I work with a lot of women, and I have worked with women for probably, close to, 23 years now. I first started out as a personal trainer, as you know, if you've listened to my other episodes. And I remember, and I've even told the story of this particular client, giving away your power is debilitating and it's crippling to you. And I know a lot of clients who do it. And there's this delicate balance between you and all of the people in your life, between your goals, your dreams, your desires, and those of other people. There's an Indigo Girls song. I think it's Tangled Up in Blue. It might not be. I'd have to look it up, but to give you the name of the song. But it is, in the lyrics, it says, there's a fine line between pleasing yourself and pleasing someone else. And that couldn't be more exact, because it is a really fine line between doing that. But I'm going to give you some tools today to help you to stand in your own power and to help you stand in your confidence. Because we don't have to stand in our confidence and our own power on every single topic. But there are some very important topics that make up you and your life that I feel like should not be deal breakers because someone thinks otherwise. Okay? So this client of mine, I ran a Biggest Loser contest when I first became a personal trainer. And I had this client, and she was amazing, and she did the work, and she was really losing weight. And then it was everything in her to become the very best version of herself. But we did the final, I totally thought she was going to be the Biggest Loser, that she was going to win. And we get to the end of, it was like a 16-week program. We get to the end of the program, and she weighs in on the very last day. And I'm like, wow, I didn't say this out loud, but she had gained weight. It was like 7 or 8 pounds or something. And it was kind of this up and up thing. And so we're done with class, and I asked her to stay behind, and I wanted to have kind of a one-on-one conversation with her. And I said, so tell me what's going on. You were destined to be the Biggest Loser this round. And I'm just curious, what changed, what happened, what was going on in your life? She goes, well, she had 3 kids at the time and is married. And she's like, well, my husband in his loving support, wanted to, quote, support me in this endeavor of losing weight and getting healthy. But yet he thought in his way to help while I was at this class that he would have dinner ready when I got home from class. And I'm like, okay, sounds good, whatever. And she goes, however, he would order 2 large Jets pizzas and 2 liters of Coca-Cola. I said, okay. And I said, so this became a big eye-opener for me. Is yes, it's important to have support in your desire and your dreams and your life, is to having that support system. But it is vitally important that you have the correct support system. And how do we figure that out? First of all, we have to figure out our own values in life. We have to figure out what's important to ourselves. And then those become the deal makers. This is what I'm going to do. This is my life. This is what I want to do. This is the body I want to have. These are the desires I want to experience. This is the money, the house, the fun, the adventure, whatever. This is what I want. These are the things in my life that I value. And when you do this, then it is vital to hold yourself to a standard of those values. It's vital. It is vital because, let me tell you this, You know, as if you've been listening to my other episodes, I love climbing. I love pretty much climbing anything except ladders. I don't like climbing ladders. But I will climb on a house up to the roof without using a ladder. Like that is more enjoyable to me. I have a climbing wall in my backyard. I love, love, love climbing. I love climbing walls, boulders, trees, anything. I really do. And I dated a person. This was obviously several years ago. And she had a fear of heights. And I also have, of the 5 love languages, my love language is quality time. And so it's this beautiful day and I say, let's go rock climbing. And she says, I'll go and watch you. I'm like, okay. So we would go and I said, come on, you want to try it? Quality time. Let's have, quality time together. And she's like, I'm afraid of heights. I don't really want to do that. I'm not really interested, but I'm fine to watch you. I'm like, okay. So we do that a couple of times. Well, then how boring is that going to be after a while is watching somebody climb, especially if it's not something that you're terribly interested in. That's like me watching somebody golf. Golf is probably my least favorite sport. I can't hit the ball off the tee. I don't want anything to do with it. And I don't want to watch. I'll drive the cart, but I'm going to go over there and drive the cart. You can go ahead and play the rounds and I'll meet you at the bar. I mean, I would rather just drive the cart around, but not watch you play golf. So anyway, so obviously this became a little bit of a thing, right? Now, also, if you've listened to my other episodes, you know that I have a very high need for fun and adventure. I love new things. I love learning new things. I love building things. I love going on adventure like driving or hiking or biking, kayaking. I love that kind of stuff, right? Going to new places, but not like where there's lots of people, okay? Like I don't want to go to parties all the time or anything like that, but like new endeavors. Anyway, so if you know that about me, rock climbing really fulfills that need in me. So I'm at home, she's at home, it's this beautiful day, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go rock climbing. Do you want to go? And she's like, no, I think if that's okay. She goes, I think I'll stay here. So I would go, and I would go a couple of different times, and then I just felt kind of guilty. I felt like maybe I shouldn't be going, that maybe we should do something together. And so it started to lessen, it started to weigh on me that I should not climb, that I'll stay home. And I'm like, okay, do you want to do something? She said, oh, no, not really. I just, stay here. We'll watch TV or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know about you, but I love watching adventure, like action adventure movies because it's adventurous. But that gets old. I want to move my body. So that got old. And then what ended up happening is I stopped climbing and I would stay home. And now kind of do whatever she wanted to do, which her to do wasn't much. It was TV, it was maybe TV, maybe a movie, but it wasn't much. Well, that began to build this bitterness inside me. And I remember going for a long drive and I went up to the Mackinac Bridge, which is the bridge in upper northern Michigan that connects lower Michigan to the upper peninsula. And it's a beautiful, beautiful bridge. And it's about 2.5 hours or so from my house. And I would drive up there as an escape and I would, stay and I would hike these trails and I would walk around in Mackinac City, which is just like this really small old town, kind of a little, it's like a village. It's like a little shopping space. And I would wander around. And I remember wandering around there and going, you know what? This is my life. Like, I don't know how many years I have on this planet. And it could be today, could be my last day. And I don't want my last day on this planet to be, I've given up rock climbing. Like that made me sick. Even saying it right now makes me feel like I want to cry because I love it so much. Somewhere in there, I made the decision, I am going to get back into climbing and I'm going to climb and I'm going to climb and I'm going to do it. And I'll just make friends doing it. If she doesn't want to go, that's up to her. This is her life. This is my life. And we have a life together. Right. So I decided to get back into rock climbing. Now, fast forward. When we get to the end of a relationship, because obviously this relationship ended, when we get to the end of a relationship, it was important to me to evaluate my life before I moved into another relationship. And I remember thinking, you know what? It is really important for me to have fun and adventure. And so therefore, it is important for me to find a partner who will do those things with me, who will enjoy a little fun and adventure, like climbing. They don't have to climb. Like, don't get me wrong. They don't have to love it. They don't even have to like it. But let's at least create some unity in, if that's the right word, unison in our relationship, that we can meet those needs together. Oh, okay. You like kayaking? Fine. I like hiking, biking. You can do all those. Great. I'm going to go rock climbing a little bit over here. If that's okay, you can come with me or not, or, whatever. But that was such a high point in my life that I wanted to keep doing it. And the problem when I gave my power away, and when I gave my power away, that just meant that I let somebody else dictate or make the decision for me if I go or not. And then you're like, wait, Jen, wait. She didn't tell you couldn't go. No. But because I value the relationship and I have this high need for quality time, it was important for me to spend time with this person. And this person didn't want to do the same things that I wanted to do. So I chose to stay home. They weren't going to come with me. So I figured I would stay. So I gave my power away. I gave my power to her and let her dictate, let her allow me to feel guilty or bad about myself for this choice. And therefore, I ended up creating resentment and bitterness because remember, self-love and self-care fills our bucket. And if our bucket is empty, you look at the bottom and what is it filled with? Resentment, bitterness, vengeful, just like this crappy feeling. And I didn't want that. I have, as far as I know, and as far as I can remember, I have one life and I want to live it. And it is important to me for self-growth, for learning, for freedom, fun and adventure, quality time, and for me to surround myself with people that allow me to be the best version of myself, but will also help me grow. Because this is my life. This is my whole life. And when people choose to stay in situations that are not conducive to their health or healing or growth, it boggles my mind, but I do remember doing it. And I did it for several years. And I do, but I just built this confidence that says, I'm not going to let somebody derail me from living my life because it is so important to me. Because, if you believe in past lives, that's totally fine. I don't know if I do or not. And the only reason I'm like, I could sort of get on board with that I was in a different body at a different time. But then I go, it's hard for me to believe it because I don't remember it. So if I met with someone that says, oh gosh, you've lived 20 lives. And then she starts to tell me all these lives I've lived. I'm like, I don't know. I don't disagree necessarily, but I don't remember them. So it's really hard for me to get on board with it. And if I don't remember them, then I'm going to say the one I'm in right now is the only one I have. And I want to live it to the very, very best. And I'm encouraging you to do the same thing. Live your life to the very best. Now, here's the steps. Here's what I would recommend. The first thing is to get to know yourself better, is to get to know yourself on a level that you find these things that you value. And then you experience life through those values. For instance, I value health. I've got one home that I'm living in. This is my physical body. It's my one home that I'm living in. And if it doesn't feel good, I don't feel good, and nobody around me feels good, right? I want to enjoy my life, and therefore I need to enjoy the body that I'm living in. So health is number one. My physical body and how it feels is number one to me. So I want to surround my people. I want to surround myself with people who also value health, right? So do you value health? And then are you surrounded by people who also value health? People that will support you. Like this client I had, obviously her husband, I shouldn't say obviously, but at the time her husband did not value health. And so he wasn't working out, he wasn't losing weight, she was, and all of a sudden, he's supporting her with food that is terrible or addictive food that was problem food for her. And we need to have that support. We need to have that ongoing support. So finding out what your values are and then going, okay, let's figure out my values. Let's figure out what those are. And we do this in my group coaching program is we figure out our values and then we compare our values to each other. So you get down to, let's say, 10 values. We compare the values to each other. And how many, or not how many, but, and then we put the values in order of importance. So I would have thought, because I spend so much time working on my business, I would have thought that abundance or prosperity or freedom of business or whatever was going to be number one. Well, on my list of 10 values, it's like number 7. It's like number 7. Health is number 1. Quality time with Amy is number 2. Quality time with the family is number 3. Health is number 1. I would not have guessed that. It puts it into a great perspective for me. That means that when I get up in the morning, I need to focus on my health. I need to focus on, what am I eating today? What am I doing? How am I moving my body? What meditations am I going to do? What am I going to do to keep and optimize myself to this creating this person of health? Okay. And we have to do that. You can't wait till the end of your days to start a workout program. You can't wait till you go to the doctor, that tells you you have diabetes or heart disease to start eating better. The fuel for your body is what makes all the difference. Okay. Now, I'm not going to get into a nice nutrition, or exercise podcast for you today, but figuring out your values is huge. And here's what you can do. Get out your journal, go to Google and type in core values list, and you will get a list of, 150 words. And they're just random words, and you can print that list off, and then you take a pencil and you circle the values, the things that mean something to you. Then you condense that list. Like if you have abundance and prosperity, to me, that means very similar. It might not be to you, but that's okay. But to me, that means the same thing. Which word do I like the best? I like abundance better. So I'm going to circle abundance, and I will take prosperity off the list. Okay. So I would suggest you do that. Then you get all the way to the list of 10. Let's say you have 10 values. Is that now you compare each of the values to each other. So you take number 1 and then you compare it to the other 9 values. Number 1, so I compare the random list, number 1 to number 2. Which one is higher? Oh, number 1 is higher. Okay. Number 1 to number 3. Ooh, number 3 is higher. And you start to put them in order. And you can tally mark them or create a score, but I think you'll get the idea of what I'm saying. What it's going to do is create another list with the same 10 that are in order according to importance. Okay? Now, when you have that list now according to importance, is you start to shift your thinking, your day-to-day tasks, your weekly events, your monthly focus to fulfill those values. And what does this do? This puts you in charge of the things that are important to you. If health is important to me, and let's say it's not to Amy, and I go, okay, I'm going to go for a walk or I'm going to go work out. And she's like, okay, I'm going to order pizza. And I'm like, okay, I have to make a decision in that moment. I have to stay true to myself and stay true to my values. Now, what does that mean as far as support goes? Well, if in my household I don't have the support for my values, then I best find support somewhere else. Doesn't mean you run off and get a divorce. Now, maybe that is the case, not saying, but maybe that is the case for you. I am saying, though, that if that person who is your person, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, if they are not supporting you in a positive way, then I am saying go find that support someplace. Now, what I'm hoping to create and what I'm beginning to create is a community of support, whether in our Facebook groups or whether in my group coaching program, is creating that support system that you might not have it with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, but you have it in our group. So if this is something that's interesting to you, if this is something that sounds like you might value this kind of a community of support, then please reach out to me via our Facebook group or send me an email at themeditationroomtc@gmail.com. Says, hey, Jen, I'm interested in your group coaching program. And then I will just set up a call with you, a conversation, and let's just have a talk. Let's just talk and see how I can support you. Okay. It is so important that you have people around you that support you in the things that you value in your life. Now, that is one thing first, and I know I drilled that one home, but to find your values, figure out your values, and start living your life according to those values. That is number 1. Number 2, it is always self-care, taking care of yourself. Because there were times where I'm like, oh, I'm just itching to go for a bike ride or go for a walk or a run or go exploring or go rock climbing or something. And my current girlfriend, not my current girlfriend, but that girlfriend at the time didn't want to go, that now I'm just going to sit around and watch TV. By the end of the night, it's time for me to go to bed. And now I can't sleep because I haven't moved my body. I haven't exhausted. I haven't emptied my energy tank. So I'm now like wide awake. And now who suffers? She's sound asleep. I'm wide awake. Right. And so I think that I know it is important to create that thing for yourself. Self-care. Creating your list of joy, creating your list of self-care. Like, I need to eat healthy. I need to drink water. I need to, steer away from sugar. It creates, weirdness in me and moodiness and anxiety and stuff like that. I need to eat this way. I need to work out. I need to go on adventure. I need to have quality time. Like, these are all my values. And so now from those values, I'm going to add how do I fill those values? So when I talk about health and fitness, what does that mean to me? Well, yeah, that means, coming downstairs and working out in my gym, but it also means walking the dogs. And it also means going for a swim. And it also means going to the gym and rock climbing, right? It also means kayaking. So I add those things to my big list of self-care, and I go through my values and I add these different activities. And it's amazing that then on a weekly or monthly basis, as I flip that book open and I look at those things and I go, you know what? These are the things I'm going to put on my calendar for this month. I'm going to go rock climbing on this day and this day. I'm going to go bike riding. I'm going to go kayaking. I'm going to go, and I'm inviting people. I'm inviting Amy to go with. I'm going with my dad. We're going to go over here. We're going to, I've got some friends at the climbing gym, so we're going to go do that. So I'm surrounding myself with that support, but I'm also creating that list. So when I am putting in my calendar, so I can keep my values high on the list and I can start to live my life in the present moment, I'm pulling things from the list of things that I value. Okay? So important. Also, the next is when you are deciding something, when you're making a decision about something, I don't know, whether you want to take a job or you want to move or I don't know, whatever some big decision is to get clear about the decision for yourself first. Why do I want to do this thing? If I'm going to switch jobs, let's say, if I'm going to switch jobs and I haven't talked to Amy yet, let's say, and I want to switch jobs, I want to get clear, what is it that I want? And the reason I want to get clear is I don't want someone talking me out of it. That's another way that people can I want to say steal your power, but that's another way that you can give away your power. It's also another way to decide if the decision is right for you. So let's say I'm like, ooh, yeah, I want to take this job. Like, this sounds really fun to me. It's good money and it's weekends off and it would still be great and whatever. And then I go to Amy before I've really checked in with myself or built any confidence. I go to Amy and I go, hey, I'm going to go take this job. It sounds really fun. She goes, for you? That job sounds terrible. And I know somebody who worked there and it was an awful job. And now I'm sitting back and going, oh, now I feel doubt when before I was excited. And it's hard to come back from that, especially when you're talking with someone that you trust. Sometimes my mom could have been like that, where I was taking these jobs that were high dollar and it was this amazing, a lot of freedom and some travel and whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so exciting. And she like completely knocked me right off of my high horse or my pedestal or wherever I was standing. I was so excited. And I'm like, now I'm all suspicious, right? So here's my suggestion. When you are making a decision about something is to first sit with the decision within yourself. Gain the confidence, the understanding, get the eye-opening, like, do I want this thing? How do I want this thing? What's the reason I want it? And sit with it. Make the decision in your mind and then feel how it feels. Just you making the decision within you. How does it, like, no, I think I do. And even if I only have the job for 6 months, it doesn't matter. I want to make this decision. Okay. Then if I go to Amy and I say, here's what I'm doing, and she goes, oh my God, that sounds terrible. I'm like, no, I still want to do it because I've gained the confidence within myself to hold myself to that value, to hold myself to that decision. Nope, I am deciding to do this. Okay. That is a huge way to maintain your power, is to sit and be within yourself. It also improves your intuitive abilities to connect to the higher version of you that can see those perspectives, that can see those decisions that you make and go, this is a good decision for you because you're going to learn this skill and that skill is going to be applied down the road here that you're going to want. So these are some ways that I think making yourself more empowered, and letting others not dictate, not be in charge of your life. Now, this doesn't mean every decision. You're like, oh, you know what? I'm okay with whatever we eat for dinner tonight. So Amy, you go ahead and decide. That's not at all what I'm talking about. I mean, the decisions that are important to you, the values that are important to you, those ones become deal makers. I am not wavering on this. I am not going to let somebody, and that somebody could be Amy, let's say, I'm not going to let Amy now talk me into all these terrible foods, and she's going to come home with 2 large jet pizzas and 2 liters of Coke and say, this is what we're having for dinner. I'm going to go, that's what you guys are having for dinner, but that's not what I'm having for dinner because I value my health. Now, I don't say that necessarily. I mean, she wants, occasionally, yes, we do eat pizza. We do not drink Coca-Cola, by the way, but occasionally we do eat pizza. But we are very aware and very conscious of when we're eating, how much we're eating, how we take it in, what we do the next day, so we teeter-totter. So we do enjoy ourselves. We do enjoy food. And there are times we're like, okay, we gotta snap this up because we're starting to feel yucky. And we check in with our body. And we check in with what's important to us. And longevity and healthy longevity on this planet is exactly what I'm after. I don't want to die tomorrow. I want to build my business. I want to have this space. I want my big visions that I have for my business and my coaching program. I want those to come into fruition. I want to see my kids graduate from school. I want to support them, when they go to college. I want to, have grandbabies. I want all that. But I want to have a body that I feel good in. And so health is number one. So drinking a bunch of Coca-Cola and eating a bunch of pizza, I know for a fact that is not going to make my body feel good. And if I don't feel good in my body, I'm crabby. And nobody wants to be around me when I'm crabby. So these are just things that I came up with that I think can really help put you in a good position in your life. Because isn't everything about going inward, understanding yourself better, living from a place of giving yourself that importance, feeling that level of, you know what, I'm important and I deserve to feel good. I deserve to be supported. I deserve to have a wonderful, amazing life. And here's some things that I thought would be able to help you. So I hope this finds you well. If you are looking to be a part of my community, I would love to hear from you. So send me an email, themeditationroomtca@gmail.com, or come into our Facebook groups, either Lady Rising on Facebook or Chakras for Beginners. And when you're answering those membership questions, just say I'm coming in through the podcast, and then send me a message or make a post that says, hey, I want to have a conversation with you, because I would love to figure out a way, if this serves you, I'd love to figure out a way for me to be able to support you in your life. So have a very good day. Get out your journal, go print that list of core values, and start doing the work to take your power back today and become empowered. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this show, please consider making a small donation. This helps me to continue creating powerful episodes for you each week, but also you become a bigger part of changing the world by changing yourself one episode at a time. By investing in my show, you are investing in yourself, your life, and your planet. And by elevating yourself, you are elevating others around you. And I thank you.